Good evening and welcome to our program tonight. My name is Victor Moyakane and this is a daily report. Of course, on sign language on the other side is none other than Catherine Simaloy. It is my pleasure to bring you the news this evening and later on a conversation around urban planning. Without a doubt, you have seen what's been happening when it's been raining across your city, across your towns and across our nation. Dilapidation everywhere, devastation everywhere, the water sweeping away crucial infrastructure and destroying lives. We want to find out, what can we do to make this easier to deal with? What can we do to make the passage of water from the sky to the ground to where it needs to go, to make it as smooth and as safe as possible for you and I? We have an urban planning expert tonight in the studio for the Insight session, and we hope to learn as much as we can for our posterity and prosperity. My name once again is Victor Moyakane and I welcome you to this program. But first, let's have a look at the highlights. As a strike by doctors extends into its second week, private hospitals are now struggling with a surge of patients migrating from the public health facilities.
I want to ask government to calm down and appreciate the suffering of the ordinary mwananchi that is pressing on the doctors in the private clinics, private hospitals.
The Ministry of Health has released a statement addressing the influenza outbreak, with medical professionals providing preventative guidance, particularly for school-aged children. And in areas such as Lower Savannah Ward in Nairobi County, where some houses were submerged due to heavy rainfall on Sunday night, distressed residents continue to grapple with the aftermath of the heavy downpour. Right, we begin with our news from the North Rift. And more than a year since the launch of Operation Maliza Uhalifu, launched in February of 2023, with the aim of disarming bandits in the North Rift region, Cabinet Secretary for Interior Kithure Kindiki has exuded confidence that the military and police-led operation is bearing fruit, despite a number of hurdles. But even as the CS promises a change in the security situation in the areas, a section of residents in the affected regions hold a contrary opinion of the operation's progress. Morgan William reports.
Thursday, the Interior Ministry Chief was in Turkana County to review the security situation of the now 13-month-old Operation Maliza Uhalifu, launched to deal with banditry in the Kerio Valley Belt. Kindiki saying that the operation has borne fruits in the 6 affected counties where the military and the National Police Service have set camp since last year.
In a short while, this picture and this scenario is going to change drastically. I just want to request for a little more patience. Kindiki revealing that despite a myriad of challenges faced during the operation, a county like Turkana has recorded a recovery of 5,600 out of the 6,800 livestock stolen, adding that the government is set to distribute more modern equipment, including armored vehicles and aired assets to support the operation. The key solution to this problem will be the complete suppression of banditry. As you're aware, our officers are doing their best, and the government is supporting them by modernizing their equipment. However, despite Kindiki calling for patience from affected residents, promising a different tale regarding the situation in the next few months, residents of Turkana hold a different opinion regarding the security situation in the area.
Bado watu bado wanauliwa katika barabara. Hii mambo ya wizi ya ng'ombe bado inaendelea. Wakati mtu anaona gari kubwa anajua majangili bado wako.
The residents further accusing the government of turning a blind eye to the facilitators of the banditry, whom they allege are known politicians.
Viongozi wetu wachukuliwa hatua na sio hatua kuenda kuhojiwa huko. Najua wakati unapeleka kiongozi ahojiwa huko, anaenda anakuwa kama hero.
Hii bunduki ni viongozi wanapeana hizi bunduki na marisasi. So si nasema hii viongozi ambao wanapeana bunduki chini chini na marisasi waache hiyo maneno.
Since the beginning of the year, more than 10 people are reported to have lost their lives in attacks by armed criminals in the North Rift region, including the killing of an MCA and a primary school head. Mwigi William, TV47.
News. Former Sports Cabinet Secretary Rashid Echesa is being held by police officers at Muthaiga Police Station. His lawyer, Danstan Omari, said that his client had been detained to help with investigations into claims of abduction. He, however, said that no report has been issued by police regarding the complainant. The incident comes after a man alleged to be Echesa's handler was taken to court for allegedly extorting 240 million shillings from the Kakamega governor, that is Fernandez Barraza. The suspect was charged with 2 counts, including conspiracy to commit a felony and demanding property with force.
What was the governor doing there? What was he doing there? He's not a policeman, and therefore, Echesa, after being kidnapped, he went and reported this matter to the police. He recorded an OB. Instead of the police investigating Echesa's complaint, Echesa was arrested yesterday. He has not been arraigned in court. It is beyond 24 hours since Echesa was arrested. Today is a working day. The police have simply detained him so that they'll continue detaining him until Tuesday next week. Echesa will have stayed behind police bars for more than 8 days. Number 2, when we got wind that Rashid Echesa is here, we came, we have been denied access. We have not had a chance to see our client, contrary to the provisions of the Constitution.
The reason why we have fundamental rights is very simple: to prevent such excesses whereby a person cannot be seen, or a person cannot be visited, or a person does not enjoy his fundamental rights. Does Echesa have a fundamental rights? Yes. And therefore, does he have a right to a lawyer? Yes. But what has happened here? The lawyers have been denied the right to see him, and he has been denied this right to actually see him and see his family.
Now, amid relative peace, bandits ambushed residents in Embosos in Arabal in Baringo South on Thursday, resulting in 1 fatality, while a senior GSU officer sustained gunshot wounds in this attack. Now, this recent attack has sparked fresh tensions in the area, where more than 2,000 families have since fled due to insecurity.
The exchange of gunfire between the NPR and bandits persisted throughout the afternoon Thursday. The GSU commander responding to the attack was shot in the left arm, causing profuse bleeding, and had to be rushed to Marigat Sub-County Hospital for first aid. In 2024 alone, the bandits have reportedly killed 16 people and displaced at least 2,700 families in Loberial, Baringo South, affecting education and other economic activities within the area, as all livestock markets in Tiati have since been closed. Locals who had begun to return home after fleeing now face renewed uncertainty over insecurity.
We have lost so many people, especially in the belt from Marigat all the way to Saimosoi, the other side of Chemoy and Ngaratuko. If we were to count the number of people who have been lost, it is, I think we have even lost count.
Baringo Governor Benjamin Cheboy denounced the attacks and retaliation, warning of escalating anarchy.
We have come here to not only condemn, but to say that we are going to take measures to hold meetings with the local community, both in Saimosoi and Tiati. The situation we have is that in spite of the fact that it is assumed that there are few wakoras or few criminals, it has been difficult for the security forces to stop this activity.
On the other hand, Tiati Member of Parliament William Kamket urged leaders to unite and restore peace in the county, acknowledging the escalating crisis since the year's onset.
Mahali hii maneno imefika sasa, imefika wakati wa sisi wote kuja kama viongozi. Na tumekubaliana na governor na county commissioner hapa kwamba tutaanza kutembea pamoja. Na hii jambo ya kwenda kungojea wasafiri barabarani ni jambo ambayo italeta shida sana katika eneo hili letu.
Baringo County Commissioner Songolo Kuto cautioned against the retaliatory attacks on police stations, emphasizing the government's commitment to quelling violence. Paul Monio, TV47.
Now, away from matters security to matters healthcare. As the doctor strike enters its second week, private hospitals are grappling with an influx of patients from public health facilities following the strike. And as our health and science reporter, Elizabeth Etieno now reports, patients have been forced to dig deeper into their pockets to fend for their medical expenses, as doctors from private hospitals decry burnout.
At Siloam Hospital in Kericho County, hundreds of patients flocked the waiting bay as some bask in the sun, eagerly waiting for medical attention. Some of these patients are from public hospitals but were forced to seek treatment in the private facility following the nationwide doctors' strike that has entered its 15th day.
I want to ask government to calm down and appreciate the suffering of the ordinary mwananchi that is pressing on the doctors in the private clinics.
Naomba serikali iwasaidie madaktari kuwalipa pesa zao. Tumetoka district tumekuja Siloam. Sasa huko sijashughulikiwa, ndio nimekuja Siloam, ndio nimepata usaidizi.
Doctors from private facilities have since decried burnout due to the ballooning number of patients.
Our doctors have got to stretch their usual times to work, and we have told them to do so. Our clinical officers, we have also told them to stretch their time.
At the St. Teresa Mission Hospital in Bori, Meru County, all the 235 beds are fully occupied. Medics at the facility tell us that the rate of hospital admissions has increased from 70% to over 100%. And that's not all. The HDU and ICU units are also full.
To speak, HDU is 100% occupied. We have just 6 beds in HDU. So even some of them they are accommodated in the ICU side.
Elsewhere, medics at the Krista Marianne Hospital in Kisii County have petitioned the county and national governments to support private hospitals with resources to help them cope with the increasing turn-up of patients. Elizabeth Atieno, TV47.
Now, the Ministry of Health has attributed the surge in respiratory illnesses to an increase in influenza infections and not COVID-19. Indeed. In a statement sent to newsrooms, Acting Public Health Director General Patrick Amoth urged the public to follow the laid-out protocols and encouraged the public to wear face masks, for example, to avert the spread of the flu.
Last week, a section of doctors raised concerns over the country's increased rates of respiratory infections due to a COVID-19 new variant, indicating a resurgence of respiratory infections across the country. Perhaps concerns that will later raise eyebrows as to whether the pandemic will paralyze the country for a second time in 4 years. In a statement shared Thursday, Acting Director General for Health Dr. Patrick Amoth refuted the claims, clarifying that there is an increase in influenza cases, further stating that this time of the year is characterized by a surge of respiratory diseases. Amoth has stated that the ministry has been monitoring SARS-CoV-2 cases with a focus on the new variant clade J&I since December last year. It was further noted that despite the surge in respiratory diseases, there were no significant changes in the number of hospitalizations or deaths reported. According to health experts, influenza infections are typically self-limiting but may also result in in severe disease or death, especially to people at high risk. The ministry has therefore advised Kenyans to take precautions, including avoiding close contact with sick people showing respiratory symptoms. The ministry has also advised the public to use coverings, including face masks in public spaces, washing hands with soap and water, and getting vaccinated against influenza, among others. According to the Ministry of Health, special attention will be given to people showing signs of breathing difficulties, children, the aged, pregnant women, and people with coexisting conditions such as cancer, tuberculosis, HIV, diabetes, and heart diseases. Ann Odida, TV47.
Thank you very much, Ann Odida. If you're a fan of TV47, you'll recognize that Ann Odida is a fresh voice coming to the home of untold stories. Welcome, Ann. Now, Trans Nzoia County Police are conducting investigations in relation to a murder case after a 21-year-old man named Henry Kiprono allegedly killed his girlfriend in Molem village in Endebess sub-county. Our correspondent Isaac Famba has prepared the following story.
Molem village, Chepchoina ward, Endebess sub-county. It is in this homestead, in this house, where Mildred Nekesa's body was found on a pool of blood. The suspect's family and neighbors have lacked answers to the question about the unfortunate incidents. His parents, led by his father, Robert Rono, could not explain what led the murder, which took place while they were busy on the land.
Okay, mapema tukiondoka tukienda shambani, tulienda pamoja. Na yeye akarudi ili achukue mama, lakini hakurudi tena. Kwa hivyo alirudi akaenda shughuli ambayo si hatukujua ni shughuli gani.
Nikapanda ya kiketi kuangalia kwa rumia, kuangalia kwa kitanda hakuna mtu. Kuangalia kitanda ingine hakuna mtu. Kuangalia chini una mtoto nyomi amelala. Na nikapiga nduru nikaita papa yake nikamwambia wewe uko wapi? Wameua mtoto wenyewe, kuja uangalie huko.
When we visited the home of the late Mildred Nekesa, we found her parents deeply sad due to the death of their daughter, which occurred at her boyfriend's house.
Juzi Jumanne nilijaribu kumuonya msichana jioni kuhusu huyu kijana, na msichana yule alitoweka, hakurudi mpaka jana kitu saa 10 za jioni ndio nikapata ripoti mtoto amechinjwa.
Nikaambia mama, kijana sio mzuri wewe uende kwa kijana saa yote. Kijana mwenye anataka kukuoa akuje tu kwa boma akuombe na uende, lakini sio saa yote mtu akuje kwa boma kesho yake arudi huko, unaenda unarudi huko.
Residents have also pointed an accusing finger to security officers, saying that murder cases have been increasing in this area.
Yani hii Chepchoina imekuwa ni kama hatuko Kenya. Wakati polisi wanazunguka wakisikia na mambo ya pombe, wanakuja kusukuma mama, wanasukuma wananchi. Lakini wakati inafika ni mambo ya kifo, mambo ya security yetu hapa inakuwa mbaya.
Isaac Famba, TV47, Trans Nzoia County.
And still on matters crime, a gang of highway robbers has been intercepted by a multi-agency team today following an outcry by the public. Regional Police Commander Adamson Bungay says that the robbers have been terrorizing residents of Nairobi by stealing from them when they are in traffic. The operation saw a number of robbers being handcuffed as they were escorted for detention awaiting arraignment.
This amateur footage making rounds on social media shows a group of young men jump on the road and head to a vehicle. Like an organized crime syndicate, one goes to the passenger side while two approach the driver's door, clearly with the intention of robbing the occupants of the vehicle. They leave as quickly as they came, with other drivers afraid to go and help for fear of their own safety. But that might have been the last day as free men for a number of them who were nabbed today by a multi-agency team led by Nairobi Regional Commander Adamson Bungei.
To take note that there was a team of a gang that were terrorizing members of public along this stretch of town.
Bungei, who commended the public on bringing the matter to their attention, says the authorities are working to ensure the safety of the public by bringing down criminals who pose a menace to the public.
To ensure that Kenyans are assured of their safety. And why we are here today is because we've been able to nab the team that actually did the robbery, or I call it robbery because there's not a name for that. And we are lucky enough that our teams swinged in very fast and we've been able to nab the team.
And with the Easter holidays approaching, Bungei has insisted on the need for police and the public to work together to ensure the holidays are peaceful and free from fear of crime.
We've taken all the measures to ensure that we've taken what is supposed of us as police to secure the city during this time and period of Easter. And therefore we also call for the collaboration of members of public.
Questions arose among internet users on whether these young men are jobless or if they want quick money and have just decided to throw their lives away by engaging in crime. Uniforms, handcuffs, and police and robber chase may be the only option left to get Kenyans to feel secure on the roads once again. Vera Alberta, TV47, Nairobi.
Desperate residents whose houses were submerged in some parts of Nairobi, like Lower Savannah Ward in Nairobi County, are trying to salvage their belongings from water from the raging floods that poured on Sunday night. However, the residents are still in fear that the same situation may recur if the county government does not attend to this matter.
6 hours of heavy rains on Sunday night causing damage and destruction at Soweto, Lower Savannah, Nairobi County, leaving hundreds of families with heavy hearts in the area.
Tulika kwa hiyo maji, juu hakuna penye tungeenda, juu maji ilikuwa imejaa mpaka huko nje. Ukitoka nje ni kama maji na kuvuruta. Ilibidi turudi tu tukae tujifungie tu hapa. Tunasikia tu fence zinaenda, mpaka nyumba tunaona ni kama inaenda.
Hannah Wamboy Kenyanjui and some of the Soweto residents explained to us their agony.
Na pande hiyo room nyingine pale maana ile matrishi kama tope. Tulipomoa mabati pande tukachomoka kwa roti nyingine.
The Soweto residents are blaming the Nairobi County government for turning a blind eye to a dump site at the riverbanks, which causes flooding in the area.
Na ni juu ya hiyo takataka imewekwa pale. Inafunga njia ya maji. Sasa kufunga njia ya maji, hiyo njia ya maji ndio ikifungwa ndio inakuja kutafuta sasa mahali ya kuingilia, ndio hiyo inaingia ndio inatusumbua.
Despite Nairobi Governor Johnson Sakaja's directive for residents living near waterways to vacate, Soweto residents couldn't heed to that because they have nowhere to go, claiming that they were born and raised in that area.
But ile shida iko pale ilitoka kwa wazee wetu, wale wazee wa kijiji, juu waliuzia wale watu wanaishi pale, unaona? So shida yote mtu ameuziwa pale, ajui vile iko.
However, the residents are urging the Nairobi County government to intervene and come up with a fast solution to ensure that the upcoming heavy rains will not affect them.
Kama sasa kumenyesha, tukifungulia hizi tapu zetu, ni venye leo sisi kuya maji, tungefungulia hii tapu ungepata sewage ndio inatoka kwa ile mfereji.
Na hiyo pesa tumesikia ameallocate 60 million, hiyo haiwezi fanya kazi ya sewer line system hapa Lower Savannah Ward. So sisi tunamuomba Governor Sakaja akuje kwa ground Lower Savannah Ward.
Anastasia Mukabi, TV47.
Thank you, Anastasia Mukabi, one of our rising stars. Education CS Ezekiel Machogu has raised concern over the rising number of child labor cases in Nairobi County. CS Machogu has now called on the county government to collaborate with the national government to end this.
Nairobi City County has consistently shown poor performance, particularly in national exams. The Ministry of Education now attributing the trend to several factors, including the increasing prevalence of child labor, inadequate resources that fail to keep pace with the growing population in public schools, a high incidence of disciplinary cases, and ongoing threats to security.
We have in Nairobi, Your Excellency Governor and all of us, is child labor. I think this one, Your Excellency plus County Commissioner, for sure we must come up strongly.
Education Cabinet Secretary Ezekiel Machogo has issued a directive for county education officers to establish a task force aimed at thoroughly examining the challenges facing education in Nairobi City County. In the initiative, he has appointed Regional Director of Education Margaret Lesuda to lead the task force.
Because I'm informed there are children who come, they enroll for exam, they disappear, and the only time they come back to school again is during exam time. Where are they during that entire period?
Nairobi County Governor Johnson Sakaja also agreed that insecurity poses a significant threat to academic excellence in Nairobi. Speaking to various education stakeholders at Kenya Institute of Special Education in Kasarani, Sakaja emphasized the necessity of mapping out the city to improve security measures for every pupil.
Insecurity, mental health, drug abuse, when it comes from children, it really pains.
Right, President William Ruto's government has designated a total of 12,000 acres of land since the year 2017 for affordable housing program. This is interesting. Appearing before the Senate in plenary to respond to queries, Land Cabinet Secretary Alice Wahome highlighted that the land parcels were submitted by ministries, counties, agencies and authorities in accordance with the Land Bank Plan. And as Mike Kagbongo reports, a group of activists filed a petition accusing the government of introducing a shadowy entity to collect funds, bypassing the Kenya Revenue Authority and imposing, of course, restrictions on property rights. This is contrary to the Constitution. Let's have a look at what they have to say.
Secretary.
Few days after President William Ruto assented to the affordable housing bill at the State House here in Nairobi, restoration of integrity at the State Department of Lands and Physical Planning has been a priority for the Ministry of Lands. According to Cabinet Secretary for Lands, Alice Wahome, the government has set aside 12,000 acres of land for the affordable housing program since 2017.
And you also know that that is the only way we can be able to assure the validity, the sizes, the survey integrity, and therefore I think it's not a bad thing that the ministry is the one that is finally doing it.
However, she clarified that not every identified lot will be used for the affordable housing scheme, stating that some will remain in the land bank for future consideration, since they are not suitable locations or do not fit the requirements for the potential projects. This comes as a group of activists filed a petition urging the court to suspend the implementation of the Affordable Housing Act of 2023. The activists accuse the government of allegedly introducing a shadowy entity to collect funds, bypassing the Kenya Revenue Authority, and imposing restrictions on property rights contrary to the Constitution. According to the petition, all public land is held and managed or allocated by the National Land Commission and not any other body. Further, they said the Act does not give the National Land Commission powers on allocation of land and the process of processing of land acquisition. The CS informed the Senate that the developers are guided by the Public Procurement and Disposal Act within the present procurement model on conditions that have been jointly negotiated and agreed upon by the parties. Mike Kagwango, TV47, Nairobi.
Note, we take a short break. We'll be right back with more news. Please keep it right here.
Na safari hii katika Mfahamu Kiongozi tutakuletea viongozi aina mbalimbali.
Nikuwe na Nisani kama 10 na pia nikuwe menua minibus. Minibus niko niwa.
Kushinda unaangalia simu ya mzee. Soma Biblia ama ingia kwa washroom ujisugue. Mpaka nimetoa hivi.
I don't know whether any of my children would want to get into the political field. Sijajua bado.
Kila Alhamisi saa 1:30 kuendelea.
Join us on a journey through the concrete jungles and rising skylines, where every beam, every nail tells a story of progress and vision.
In every aspect of life, you have to look at several dynamics.
From groundbreaking.
Nowadays with the tech, you can check on different websites or you check online and you can see some inspiration. So at least that one would be a direction already. I'll know like what kind of style you're going for.
To finishing touches, witness the dedication of the hard-working teams who bring these ambitious dreams to reality. The Realtor, Tuesdays at 6:30 p.m.
Na safari hii katika Mfahamu Kiongozi tutakuletea viongozi aina mbalimbali.
Nikuwe na Nisani kama 10 na pia nikuwe menua minibus. Minibus nikoniwa.
Kushinda unaangalia simu ya mzee, soma Biblia ama ingia kwa washroom ujisugue mpaka nimetoa hivi.
I don't know whether any of my children would want to get into the political field. Sijajua bado.
Kila Alhamisi saa 1:30 kuendelea.
Join us on a journey through the concrete jungles and rising skylines.
Welcome back. The National Coffee Cooperative Union, representing unions from 31 coffee-growing counties across the country, has dismissed claims by the Coffee Producers Association on delayed payment for cherries sold at the Nairobi Coffee Exchange through the Direct Settlement System, the DSS, owned by the Cooperative Bank of Kenya. The union's representatives, led by NACU, that is the NACCU chairman, Francis Ngone, said that since DSS came into force through state-driven reforms last year, farmers have reaped benefits from the system that has ensured timely payments, giving farmers full control of their finances. The NACCU has now appealed to the government to suspend coffee buying licenses and activities of a section of coffee dealing companies for allegedly engaging in brokerage and selling activities, which is against coffee regulations.
Our members are collaborating with NCEs, CMA, Government through Council of Governors and the Cabinet Secretary from MSC to ensure full implementation of the direct system, settlement system by the Cooperative Bank. This is our savior. This is what is today, this is what has helped the farmers. Farmers getting their dollars straight from the market, from the buyer of their coffee. Farmers going to exchange the dollars for themselves, and farmers also dictating who will take a share at the DSS, whomever they have any relationship in regards to debts and all that. The farmer has full control of their payments. And here now somebody comes and says this is the worst thing. They want it audited, which is unheard of. Audited by who? And the people who have licensed them are working hard with them. That is the CMA. So we congratulate the government for studying firm on that. And we urge them, we are behind you, we stand with you. We are the farmers. And we are saying we are comfortable. I don't see how anybody else could come and say we are not comfortable.
Right, small-scale traders and importers can now breathe a sigh of relief. This is after the government ordered the release of their goods held at the port of Mombasa over standard verification within 2 weeks. In a raft of interventions announced by Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua on Thursday after meeting small-scale traders, The goods will be released upon confirmation that they meet the required standards. The government also reversed a decision on the increment of import duty from 2.5 million shillings to 3 million shillings on each container. This after traders complained that the extra 500,000 shillings was not justified and that they were not involved. Gachagua convened the meeting after the traders claimed that their businesses were going down over alleged introduction of new import duty by KRA and harassment by police and officers from the anti-counterfeit agency, as well as unfair competition from foreigners.
Waliana kutakuwa na mkutano yetu na nyinyi kila mwezi. Wale maofisa wa KRA wanaharasi nyinyi. Wale wa KEBS, wale ya counterfeit na polisi kwa sababu na wajua. Mtakuwa na forum every month. Munalete tunachukua hatua.
Tuwe na biro ambayo ilikuwa inapitishwa ya pop-up markets. Tujue mchuuzi katika jiji ya Nairobi sababu we have the business community ambao wana complain kuhusu kufungua barabara na hawkers. We have the business community ambayo inasema duka yangu imefungwa mlango siwezi uza. Na ilhali ni mfanyabiashara na yule mchuuzi pia ni mfanyabiashara.
Sometimes kama hivyo dola ilikuwa 165 na ulikuwa umeplania utalipa 2.5, ile mmetuambia ndio maximum possible duty nafaa tulipe, unaenda kwa bank unachukua hiyo 2.5, ukisikia container imebakisha 1 week unagoja na pesa yako. Hiyo container ikifika tena unaelezewa tena uongeze 500 yenye hauna, naibu wa rais, unapoteza mizigo yako.
And on that note, we take another short break. When we come back, we will have the interview for you. Inside Tonight, we're talking about urban planning, and with us is an urban planning expert. We want to talk about how to avoid some of the things that we're noticing in our communities and in our homes. We'll be right back.
Na safari hii katika Mfahamu Kiongozi tutakuletea viongozi aina mbalimbali.